Hello, everyone. My name is Wanda Kay, and I have to tell you about this woman. Ruth was not well received. She wasn't welcome. She didn't look like anyone else in the town that she lived in, and she had no real way to support herself, much less her widowed mother-in-law. You see, the sickness that took Ruth's husband also took her father-in-law, leaving two women widowed and now alone. And for Ruth, this was a strange place. She wasn't even among her own people. What were they going to do? They were in survival mode, and this was long before the age of cars, trucks, machinery, or public transportation. They had to figure out how to eat. But what were they going to do? I'm sure, left to her own devices, her mother-in-law probably would have gladly just given up and died. But now she knew there was a young woman taking care of her, and she felt responsible. So she told her the best thing she could think of, and that was to go and glean the fields after the harvest. Now, this process was very, very labor intensive. This, as I said, this is before the age of cars, trucks, automobiles, and public transportation even. They were going to have to walk to get where they wanted to go. And she was going to have to work in the fields, which meant the hot sun. There's no shade in a field where there's a lot of growing taking place. But this was the harvest, and they had to get it done just before the rains came. That meant they were using oxen or mules or some other animal to pull the thing that they took through the field to gather the harvest. So the soil's going to be churned up, the sun's coming down hot, and pleasant little surprises are left by the animals for you to step over, hopefully, as you move through the field. Now that's just the harvesters, but the people who gleaned behind the harvesters were looking for what got overlooked, what might still be left behind that they could take home and feed their families with. And you know, it's an interesting process. In order for Ruth to have enough food, not just to feed herself and her mother-in-law, she had to gather enough food to give herself the strength and nourishment and energy she needed to be able to come back and do it again the next day. This was their survival. You know, if I was there, I'd be very tempted to focus on the manure piles that were left in my path. I might be focusing on the harsh, rough language of the harvesters because they didn't care. This was hard work. Why would they mind how they spoke around the gleaners coming behind them? This was their job. This was their work. They got paid the same either way. No such thing probably as an outhouse, so they're relieving themselves wherever. It's a rough thing. And the temptation would really be to be distracted by all of that. But necessity required that Ruth not focus on any of that, and that she focus on gathering the grain that would cause them to survive. So she didn't bring home an armload of manure. She didn't bring home loads of stories about, can you believe what I had to endure today? Instead, she brought home armloads of grain and said, Mother, we get to live. We get to eat again. She brought home what was good to her family. Now, many of you are involved in business. For the first time, you're working on your own personal growth and development. And you're thinking, I'm seeing some stuff here as I'm going through these books that are recommended. I'm seeing some stuff that doesn't quite line up. In fact, some of it might look like a few manure piles in the way. Let me encourage you, rather than to be a person who finds all the things wrong, be a gleaner. Look for the treasure that's going to feed you and your family. You know, a self-help book is nothing more than a reference manual. It's not the Bible. It's not the end-all, be-all. But it is something, if you're fortunate to have had a book recommended to you, it's something that's helped someone else get to where you want to go. And inside of there there might be something still left of value and worth. And if you're smart, like Ruth, you're going to look for those nuggets, and you're not going to leave any stone unturned, because you're bringing home something for your family that's going to feed them for ages to come. I hope this video has been value to you. I hope it has blessed you in some way, and I hope you will like, comment, and share it with others. And I look forward to talking with you again soon.